In the previous video, we just finished choosing what happens when we receive that show pick from the keystroke. We've asked the computer to set a number from 0 to 2, and then if the computer equaled the rock, it showed the rock, paper, and so on. So now you'll notice is if I hit my J, K, and L, we get a random choosing of these different variables. So the computer shows, and I show basically the player based off what I hit on the keyboard. So what we need to do now is we need to broadcast. So we need to send a message after we hit this, and we'll just say a new message, and we'll call it check winner. Now we have to set up a bank of rules for what happens when, or how we're going to define a winner. So I'm going to come up here to my define function, or to my receive function, and say I'm going to check my winner. Well, this is really simple, but overly repetitive. So I'm going to grab an if statement, and I'm basically going to do is I can duplicate this right now and bring it in. If my computer equals my player one variable, then I want to say, hey, it's a tie. So if we equal each other now, you're going to see, I'm going to broadcast out, we can see that it says it's a tie. But now we have to set up the conditionals for all the rules. Rock beats scissors, scissors beats paper, paper beats rock. So I'm going to just duplicate this really quick and say what happens now is I have lots of outcomes. So I need to come here and grab my AND command, and I need to do some comparisons. I'm going to duplicate this again. What happens if the computer chooses rock? And let's say player one chooses paper. I got paper here I can duplicate. I'll bring that in, and I'll nest those, and we'll focus on this programming now. So if they equal, computer equals rock, player one equals paper, we know the computer wins, the player wins in that one. So we can simply type in something like you win, because paper beats rock. So if I duplicate this down and run another if statement, and let's say the computer chooses rock again, but this time the player one chooses scissors. I don't have a scissors that I can readily grab, so I'm going to come back to my variable. I'm going to grab my scissors, and I have my scissors. Well, next thing you're going to do is rock, again, beats scissors, so I go to you lose. So what you're going to want to do is for every single combination of codes here, you're going to want to set up a if statement, that conditional statement, to say if the computer does this and the player does this, what you want to have happen. I'm going to pause and do this off screen so it's not as tedious for you to watch. So you can see I went through all the conditions and went through if computer had paper and player one had rock, you lose, and if computer had equals scissors and player one had paper, you lose again. So we can see these examples. Well, the next thing I want to do is I want to broadcast out or send my message out that I want to reset, because obviously the game is complete. So if I come up here, I'm going to click my green flag. We reset back to the original. I hit J. Oh, I lost. I reset. So I can hit L. I lost. And reset. Now we can see as this runs, my program is glitching. So we'll restart that, we'll run it, and you'll see it'll cycle through. One of the things I forgot to do in my rush when setting up my variables is to define them. We're asking the computer to pick a random number from 0 to 2, but what we didn't do is set our variable.